Hey everyone, Eric Allen here, founder of Planiversity, back with you again. Today we're going to talk about the dashboard functions for a business suite. Just like the individual suite, it's pretty standardized. This is what the actual dashboard looks like, but what you'll see here that an individual suite wouldn't have would be the meeting function, the people function, and the job function. And those are things we're going to actually go over today. Now, if you look at the dashboard and you think it looks a little bit small, I did reduce the resolution here just so we can get a wider view. But if I wanted to bring that back up to 100, I'd just bring it right there, and then you would see those little gaps like right here. They would actually start to fill in. Down here, they would start to fill in just by adjusting the resolution. But since I want everyone to have a little bit more of a view, just where you can see a little bit more of the calendar, a little bit more that I don't actually have to scroll down, I'm just going to pan that resolution out to about an 80%, and then you pretty much have a good glimpse of everything from here. You just have to deal with the annoying little gaps right here, which really are not that annoying. So one of the things we're just going to kind of cover right here is anything that you put into this meeting, people, and event function, meeting and event function is going to show up here on the calendar. Now you can see right here the calendar is programmed to be able to show you or represent events, trips, meetings, or all. And you'll see right down here there is some few things that we have added down there in terms of sales or a sales trip and a day event, which represent, based on the colors right here, trips and events. And you can even look over here and you can see we have one trip and one event. Both of them are on May 6th, and you can see that they're right here on May 6th, so that is accurate representation. When I create a meeting, you're going to see that that meeting will also be represented on the calendar here, and you'll also see cards drop into this stack right here of upcoming anything really. So it can be an upcoming trip, it could be an upcoming event, it could be an upcoming meeting. And of course, once you add anything to people, it has nothing to do with anything on the dashboard. It doesn't reflect anything on the calendar. It won't reflect anything in the upcoming. The only thing that the people function does is it actually allows you to connect plans to somebody in the future, and it allows meetings to connect people so that way they get notifications on any meeting that's coming up. So let's go ahead and we'll start there. I'll just kind of show you the people function. Now this used to be known as the employee page, but I've actually changed it over to reflect the the people instead of employees, and anyone that could be put into this database could be students, it could be salespeople, it could be traveling consultants, project managers, etc. And obviously these are not all employees, so we don't want to refer to everyone as an employee, so we just change that to people. Now going in here, it's a pretty straightforward form. You can see down here that I do have some already test profiles in there. This does have my name, but that is not me. As a matter of fact, that is Daniel Bruhl, the actor, the German-Spanish actor, fantastic actor. So again, not me. These phone numbers are not real. The information is not real, but in here you can see everything is pretty much easy. What I've done is I've gone ahead and just created some test accounts just so people would actually be able to see how they actually look, how they reflect, if they're easy to edit, if they're easy to delete. If I go into a profile and I want to actually change something, you can see when I changed or clicked on Randy Schuyler's name, his information comes up here. Now one of the things that you've noticed if you've actually been into the video that talks about the connect and the migration feature is these people, if you have their customer number actually represented here, you'll be able to connect the plan to that person. Now, if I just create a people profile, you'll actually see them when I try to add them to a meeting, but you will not see them if I add them to a connect, or if I try to connect them to a plan, if they don't have their employee number, or not employee number, but member number put in here. Now to get that member number, all we have to do is we have to look on the dashboard, and you can see it right here, the customer number. It's right there. So if I wanted to say that that individual Randy, if I wanted to input his customer number, I would have to make sure that I take this, I copy it, and when I get to his profile again, I just open it up into edit. If I want to add that at any time, now this is obviously just a generic number in there, I just paste the number in there, or I just type it in, and once I save that or process it, then it's going to be saved, and any time in the future that I want to connect a plan to this individual, he will actually show up in that drop down list as an option. Okay, So let's go ahead and we'll actually show you how this process works. So we'll go back to people. Now you can see this is a blank profile. We do have them down here. I did show you that you can delete. I did show you that you can edit. Now just to add anyone, you can see right here. Let's just say we're going to put in Jason, and we're going to use born. It'd probably help if I spelled it correctly. I think it actually had a U in there. There we go, Jason Bourne. Now if I try to actually just save it like this, the system is going to reject it on the premise of put in an email and put in a customer number. That is exactly why you saw the packet have that generic number in there. So the employee's profile had that 234567 number in there because I didn't put a actual member number in there. Now the reason why this prompts you is because it's telling you, hey, you'll be able to connect any plan in the future to this individual if you just add their member number. If I don't want to add something, I can just simply put in anything right there just to kind of use a space filler. Here I can just really put test@yahoo.com or test Jason B at yahoo.com. We'll just use that one right there. All right. You're not required to put anything else in there. So if I wanted to save this, I can go ahead and just save. And you'll see, okay, so it wants me to actually upload a profile image, so I can put in anything right here. We'll just go ahead and add this guy's picture right there. If I want to expand this, there we go. It's pretty straightforward, just like any other business function. You just throw it in there, crop it around the image's face, and then boom, save it right there. So there's our image. That's Jason Bourne right there, ladies and gentlemen. And now I can go ahead and save it, and you see here it successfully adds that individual. So if I come down here into the list, boom, I've got them down here. Now I can show you how to use the connect function once this individual is in here, but let's just wait a little bit. Now you can see I didn't add anything else, so there's some pretty basic information in here. As far as what I've given him, obviously I've just put in a name, I've put in a last name, email, customer number, that's it. But if I wanted to add something else, I could just put 222, we'll just put in anything here. I don't actually know these. All right, so we'll see Calgary and states. We'll just say he is living in Canada. Actually, the state would be Calgary, wouldn't it? There we go, zip code, I'm not even going to bother with that. Phone number, I can just say he's got a stateside phone number, and we'll say for a stateside phone number he's got 000-123-4567. And as far as social security number, obviously that's optional. You can put that in if you want to put the person's driver's license number in, state, expiration, birth date, gender, race, everything. That's up to you. We'll just say that they are Caucasian, because obviously you can see Jason Bourne's profile picture right there, and then of course veteran status if you need to. Now as far as the migration tool goes, we're not going to get into that today because there is a separate video that explains the connect and the migration feature. But generally speaking, what I want to do is, if this individual, Jason Bourne, decides that he wants to create a plan and he wants me to add some information, let's just say he starts the process and now he's waiting on me to add documentation, I can go ahead and I can enter the number or his customer number along with the plan number, put it in here, process it, and that's going to send a request over to his dashboard saying that I would like to migrate that specific plan. And I'll show you in a minute what that plan number looks like or where that comes from. But that's how that works. That's the only reason why this is here. Now, once I've got this information in, I just come over here, I update here. Now, we are going to increase the functionality of this area. Not only are we going to put new design on here, but I also want there to be documents that you can upload. I want you to be able to add comments to this individual. So if this does happen to be an employee or a student and you need to kind of keep track of their history, document any events in their, in their travel, then you can just go ahead and add that right there and keep tabs on it. But once we've got this information updated, I just go ahead, go back here to people so the system can refresh, and you can see down here in the drop down list below, now it actually reflects his phone number as well. So I don't need to do anything else right here. We'll just go ahead and we'll jump back to the dashboard by clicking the home button. And now, just to explain, please excuse the little bit of lag. Just anytime that we're streaming and we're recording something, you're going to notice a little bit of a lag just because the bandwidth and the processing unit being consumed so much or consuming so much data. But right here where I said the plan number, anytime you want to migrate something, this is the number that you're looking for. So let's go ahead and we'll actually increase the resolution size so it's a little bit more readable. That's the number right there. So if somebody says, okay, I'm going to go ahead and migrate your packet over, just give me your customer number, which is right here, and then the plan number. Now I do realize that the plan number is a little bit longer, but the reason why that is for encryption method. So if we issued this a simple 4-digit number, then we just leave it wide open for the option to be able to be, if somebody is interested in hacking, that obviously makes that information that much more accessible if it's easier to figure out. But if you give it a 16-digit alphanumeric code, then it makes it extremely difficult, especially a randomized alphanumeric code. It makes it very difficult to be able to track that data or find that data. So that's why we have that. But once you provide them that customer number and that plan number, they can send a migration request, and that actually will send a notification up here. You open it, you accept or reject that request, and once you accept it, they can open up your plan in their dashboard. They can modify it, they can send it back to you. So once they're finished exporting it, all of a sudden it's going to show up on your dashboard with the information that they've input into it. It's an awesome feature. And as far as the connect goes, you don't need to do anything else. Once you go into that people profile and you create that profile, now the only thing you have to do is wait to receive information. So as long as I input that person in there, when I get to a connect step or the connect step in the planning process, I can connect that individual, and that individual will not only get the plan on their dashboard right here, but they'll also get the notification in their application if they have it installed on their phone. All right. So now we're going to move on to the next step. We're going to go ahead and put in event. Now there are 2 ways that you can put in an event here. All right. So with Planiversity, you can actually start a new plan, and when you go in here, you can see step number 1 of starting a new plan is it's asking you if you want to create an event or a trip. Now the difference here is anytime I create an event here, I'm actually creating a full-on plan based on all these steps. You can see the schedule, the notes, resources, plans, documents. I can connect it to individuals and then export it. That is the difference right there. Anytime I want to create an event from the dashboard, it's not the same thing. I'm basically just creating an event. I can connect people to it, and then I'm just going to store that so that it shows up in the calendar. So if I don't need to have a plan right here, let's just say we're going to have a company party, like a Bob's birthday party at the end of the day, that's where I can create an event. But do I really need a full plan for Bob's birthday party? Probably not if it's an office party. So let's go ahead and jump back here to the dashboard. Now we're just going to use that scenario as the example, okay? So let's go ahead and pan out the resolution again to 80% just so you get a little bit more view. And we're going to go ahead and go in here and we're going to create an event. And this was a little tester earlier. I just want a little placement holder there, so I'm going to delete that. Now you have a form fresh from scratch. All right. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to say Bob's birthday party. And there it is. Now, obviously, since this is Bob's an employee, I don't need to add a customer name or a number or an address, but I can just say his birthday party is going to be today at 03:30 p.m. and it's going to go until, we'll say 4:30 p.m. So we're just going to run an hour. The event is just going to be, we can just add it for today. So we'll say the 27th of April. I come back over here, 27th of April. Obviously, you can input these as well. You can just type in this information, but again, I just like to use this feature. Event locations, let's just say it's in the conference room. Oops. There we go. This is what happens when I drink too much coffee. Exactly. All right, so conference room right there. I don't need to click on any of this. I'm just going to say conference room, 3rd floor. That way the information is there. Meeting overview, let's just say shirt and tie event. And special instructions, save some room for cake. That's it. That's my special instructions. Now, if I want to add any kind of documentation here, I can go ahead and just click on here. I'm just going to throw in a little filler right there just so we have something, just so you can see how that actually works. Now, this is my folder full of test documentation. just documents that I created to make sure anytime I'm testing the service that the system accepts and that it can open full-size PDF documents. And you can see right here I've just added 2 PDF pages with test documents in them. If I want to add comments in here, I can just add comments about the event. So I can say Bob is turning 45 today. That's it. Obviously, the comments can be anything that you want them to be. As soon as I add that and save it, the system confirms that it is saved. Now you can see this is all there is to it. Okay, I've just put in some general information, times, dates, added documentation if I need to. Bob, I put in some information about the event. Now, one thing that we will keep in mind, as you can see down here, as we would invite people to it. So let's just throw Jason Bourne in here. So I'm going to start typing Jason Bourne. Now again, if I didn't input Jason into the people page, his name would not be here. Okay, if I tried to put the name Philip in here, it's just going to say, well, let's see. If I try to add Philip, the system is going to say, well, that doesn't work because there is no Philip in the system. So let's come back here. I'm going to say Jason Bourne because Jason Bourne is in the system. I click add. Oops. Why is that not? There it is. All right. I'm not sure why I did that. I guess I just had a little too much space right there. But again, it would not show up in this list. So I can add the name Eric there. I can add my developer as well. All right. Just everyone who's testing the service. Now you see these 3 individuals are invitees. Do I want to send notifications to them? Yes. Now, one of the things to keep in mind is I did create an event and I added documentation and I added comments. So do those comments and that documentation, does that show up when they receive a notification? The answer is absolutely not. So all this information, this will show up. The event overview, the special instructions, the time, the date, event location, all that information is going to show up once they get the notification. So if I have the application installed on my phone, I'll get a notification. I'll actually be able to open up that event. I'll see all this information, but I will not see documents that have been uploaded. I will not see any kind of comments. Now, in the future, one of the things that we will be adding is a little toggle switch here to say add this information to the notifications. But for now, there's a separation. Just kind of split this down the middle. This information goes forward. This information is for you. We could also just say for them and for us, or for them, for you section. Just think of it that way. Once I have the information confirmed, obviously if this is an event, and the reason why there's a deposit section in here is because this might be for someone throwing a party. This might be for a professional who's actually hosting some kind of event, some kind of meeting, all right? So this allows them to track documentation, to have comments about this event, but to be able to kick out this information to all the guests, okay? Now, if there was any kind of deposit included, then yes, that information would be included. But since we're not adding that, then we just go ahead and not add that. And I'm going to go ahead and save the event at this time. And you'll see the system confirms. Not only does it confirm, but it drops it into the list down here. Now, if I wanted to edit this, I would come back in and let's just say we do want to actually add deposit information. So we'll say yes, select, and we'll say, well, there was a deposit of $1,200 on this one, okay? Again, it's just kind of confirming all the information. If I wanted to put in a customer address, I could say, all right, well, let's just say the address of where this is going is 123 Smith Street, and there it is. We'll just leave that there. All right, I can update that information. Go ahead right here. And that's it. That's all there is. If you don't want to edit information, if you don't want to add any more information, now I'm not sure if you heard it, but once I updated it and saved that event, I did just get a notification on both my phone and iPad. All right. But let's just say I come back here and I say, you know what, I'm just going to go ahead and select no, remove this information about deposit. Doesn't need to be put in there. I update it. Boom. There it is. It's done. Again, you can see it's in the list down here. Now, if we want to confirm, we just come back to the home page or the dashboard. You can see that a card has actually dropped into the list of upcoming, and then there's Bob's birthday party right here in the list. So The reason why we have discriminators up here is because if you are the type of company that has a lot going on, maybe you have quite a few meetings, maybe you have quite a few trips and events, and if you have all selected, this calendar might just be a little bit congested. So if you want to discriminate and say, hey, I only want to see trips, then you'll notice that Bob's birthday party dropped off. If you want to actually just have events only, then you could do that, and you can see the trips are gone now, all right? But if I want to have all, I just go ahead and throw that in there, and you can see the trip is coming back, Bob's birthday party is still there, and Bob's birthday card is here. Now, the reason why you don't see an image here is because these are actual plans versus this just being an input information. Again, that's where that difference was, right? To start a plan, and you can see right here, to start a new plan, which is what this is, since this is an event also, there's event here and event there. If you want to create in a plan, a full drawn out, here's all the information, here's the notes, here's the schedule, here's the documentation, all this information, here's the resources, maps, that's when you would do that. And this is what you would get as a product like this that you can actually download. If you just want to create an event where you're just pushing forward information, that's where you would use this function right here. And you can see the card right here. That is why it doesn't have an image on it, is because these can be personalized. This is not personalized, all right? In the future, we'll probably open up that option, but as of now, you can see it's a visual representation of something that's just different from the others. So you wouldn't really mix the two up, all right? And there is different color as well. So that is how you create an event. Now to do the last step right here, the meeting function, it's the same thing, people, meetings, events, you come in here. Now if I've added a person, like again Jason Bourne, I can actually create a meeting and include him in that meeting as an invitee. Now if I didn't add him, I can't just throw an arbitrary name in there and expect the system is going to kick out that information to someone random. So I can't create a meeting and just put my mom's name in there and just click, save or update, and then all of a sudden she receives a notification that there's a meeting. Even if she does have the Planiversity app, she just will not get that information, all right? The only way she's going to get that is if I create a profile on her, I include her customer number, her information, and when I create that meeting, if I link her, now it's got her phone number, it's got her email, it's got the customer number or the number right here, and it has the capability to actually send that notification to her. So let's go ahead and we'll come into meetings. Let's get rid of the placeholders again. So let's just delete these. And now we're going to go ahead and, just like the events, I'm going to create a meeting title. So let's say discuss Bob's birthday. Actually, let's just make it a little bit different. Bob's going to retire soon, so let's get ready to discuss Bob's retirement. Again, if you wanted to have a customer name, so if this was a meeting to discuss a customer, then absolutely you could put in the customer name right here, and that way I would know if we're going to discuss Bob's retirement today, Bob's customer of A, B, and C company, that's what that information is for. Use it, don't use it, it's up to you. The meeting location, again, let's just say it's going to be in Suite 210, conference room 1. All right, there's that information. The meeting time we'll say is from, we'll put 1 p.m. and we're just going to keep it short, say 1:30, and we're actually going to make that meeting today as well, so we can discuss his retirement before we celebrate his birthday party. All right, meeting overview. Discuss retirement and special instructions. Don't forget to bring Bob's performance reviews for the last 10 years. There we go. All right, obviously there's some information I wanted them to have. Now again, I get to the invitee section. I come in here, I can't just add my mother, I can't just add someone arbitrarily. I need to add someone that I actually have a profile on, so we're going to use Jason Bourne. Select invitee. Now it's strange that I do that, so as long as that's the little reaction. Once I finish inputting that name and hit the space bar, I probably shouldn't be doing that, but as long as you don't hit the space bar after you add that name, not a big deal. Now I can, let's just invite myself again. So I'm not going to go for the full name. I'm not going to hit any space bar. I'm just going to click that, and same thing. I'm just going to hit D and pull that information over here, and we'll just add the dev user. You know what? I don't want to leave Randy out. So let's just, no, Randy, there he is. Okay, I just want to make sure that we can add Randy. And yes, of course, we're going to send notifications. Again, if I want to add documentation, I just come over here. Let's just put in documentation, test documentation D, and you can see that actually shows up. Now you can review it. Once you open the profile, you can absolutely review those documents. If you don't want to review it, don't even worry about it. If I want to add comments, just like before, I can come in here, click add new comment, add my comments, test this. There we go. That's how we actually test a comment section. We'll just add that comment right there. Comment is saved. Now you can see it shown right there. And everything that we wanted it to add, or wanted to add for this meeting, we've put it in. We've given it a title, customer name if we wanted it. We're not adding customer name. We're going to put in that meeting location so everyone knows where to go to discuss Bob's retirement. Well, everyone is in Jason, Eric, the developer, and Randy. We've given it a time, from and to, the date, overview, instructions, added them. Of course, we want to send them notifications. Are they going to see the documents and the comments? No, they aren't, because this is for you section, right? Now let's go ahead and save the meeting right here. Once I save the meeting, I should get a confirmation, and there's my confirmation. Now I come down here and I can make sure that this information is actually shown up here, and you can see right here, discuss Bob's retirement. All that information's right there. If I want to come in here, now we could say ABC, and yeah, we'll just put in ABC group, update that information. And again, you can see right here, it is reflected there, all right? Once I'm done with this, I just go ahead and I drop back to the dashboard by selecting the home. And now you can see right here, we have it reflected on the calendar because I have all selected, right? So if I only want to see events again, it's going to show me Bob's birthday party. But if I want to see the meetings only, I just click on meetings, and there's Bob's retirement and not Bob's birthday party. But since I want to see everything, that means trips, that means events, that means meetings, I just select all, and now I have all that information reflected on my calendar. Not only do I have the card here about Bob's birthday party, but now I also have a reminder that upcoming is Bob's retirement, all right, from 1300 to 1330, or that would be 1 to 1:30 p.m. All right, that's it. That is how you use, let's go ahead and blow the resolution back up. That is how you use the meeting people and job function, or event function rather. Now the job function, we can go over that quick since we're already in here. That is another function that you get for being a Business Suite user. Now that's a pretty straightforward one. Is this something that you link a lot of people to? It will not reflect in the calendar, but just like the others, you can go ahead and create jobs. So let's just say I wanted to put somebody specifically on a job. Okay, I could. So I could put in a job name. I can put in the category being right here. There's a lot of categories right here. Obviously, you know, you might have something outside of that, so you can just select other if it's nothing that falls in here. If I wanted to add job details, so when I say job, let's just say I have a salesperson actually going out to do some kind of sales meeting on, you know, X, Y, and Z company. We just say, you know, XYZ company. Category, let's just say they are let's say they're we'll give them departmental. Okay, job details, bridge designer, and contact numbers. Of course, you can add contact numbers if you want, so let's go ahead and add another contact number in there. There's our contact number. If I want to add employees, now when I say employees, this means people that are going to be related to that. So if I say I want to send Jason Bourne out on this job, you know, this job relates to this individual, I can just go ahead right here. Again, I can just select Jason Bourne. Don't have that little space after that, and that's it. I've added him. Now I did notice that it created that little space again, so I'm going to go ahead and try and problem solve that while I'm actually streaming this. Again, if I want to add address, city, state, zip, any of that, any documentation, I can. We'll save that job. Now we're going to try and figure out why exactly, and you can see right down down here. There's my X, Y, and Z company, the job, there's the information. Obviously, if I wanted to add an address, I could do that. But let's go back to people. We're going to find out why, and I think I know exactly why that's given us a problem. So I come over to Jason Bourne, I'm going to edit it. Now my guess is once we put in Bourne, now you see right here, after the last letter, there's a space there. I'm going to go back here. I'm going to remove that space. I'm going to update people. You can see it's been updated. Now let's come over here. Let's go to jobs. Let's go ahead, Jason Bourne. Oh, let's see, that's interesting that it did not update that. Well, let's see. Let's create that space again. Nope. And again, all right, well, so that's one thing that we might have to go in and correct. Not a big deal, but you know, that's an easy fix, obviously. But in any case, that is how you use these functions. Now, they're pretty straightforward. Are they easy to use? Absolutely. So by all means, get in there, play around with them. We definitely have new design coming down the pipe pretty soon. So you're going to see the events page, the meetings page, people and jobs have a new feel, a new look, a new appearance, and even perhaps a little bit of new functionality in terms of toggle switches. Do you want to add this information? Do you want to add that information, etc.? Well, I hope this information has been helpful to you. If you have any questions, as always, feel free to reach out to us at any time. Otherwise, I'll let you go at this time. Safe travels as always, and thank you for listening. Take care.